On this episode of China Uncensored, is it Korean War II? No, of course not. The first Korean War never technically ended. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. North Korea is trolling China. Maybe even more than I do. North Korea, aka the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, aka the True Korea, just launched a test of 4 missiles, 3 of which landed within 200 miles of the Japanese coast. Shooting missiles into the water, that's cause for celebration. And believe me, you don't want to be the guy that breaks off a hug prematurely with Kim Jong-un. The North Korean missile launch was designed to be as provocative as possible. It comes as the U.S. and South Korea engage in annual military drills known as Foal Eagle. A foal is a young horse. You know, Foal Eagle. Previous drills were named Puppy Toucan, Pork You Pet Swan, and of course, Goose Gosling. Kim Jong-un, North Korean leader and winner of his fraternity's Most Outstanding Brother Award, said earlier this year that he was in the final state in preparations for the first test of an intercontinental missile that could strike the U.S. Not on Donald Trump's watch. But it's also a sign that for China, North Korean relations are going south. First, it comes during the not-to-be-politically overshadowed National People's Congress. It's one of the biggest political events of the year, as you can see from these extremely engaged delegates. Hostesses for the event are literally jumping for joy. It's an annual tradition. I mean, what young woman wouldn't be excited to serve tea to an old horny toad? But there's another unintended consequence of North Korea's missile test that has the Chinese regime up in arms.
We should quickly finish the deployment of THAAD and acquire a defense system against North Korea's nuclear missiles.
Yes, THAAD! China hates THAAD. No, THAAD isn't the name of Xi Jinping's least favorite fraternity brother. THAAD stands for Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, a missile defense system the United States wants to build in South Korea. What's that, Shelley? I see. As of now, it's a missile defense system that the U.S. is already building in South Korea. Now you would think, North Korea has promised to turn Seoul into a sea of flames. Why would China be upset about South Korea having a missile defense system? Is it because it would be a provocative act that might further escalate tensions on the Korean Peninsula? Well, partly, but having a U.S.-built missile defense and radar system so close to China might really cramp the Chinese regime's style if they ever decide to launch a missile anywhere. And so they've been doing everything they can to get South Korea to back down. I mean, not that China is worried or anything. As my favorite state-run media says, the Chinese military could always blind or destroy THAAD if it had to. Yes, peaceful means are always preferred. Otherwise, we will crush you. But what if we could crush you peacefully? You see, China is South Korea's biggest trading partner. 1/4 of all Korean exports go to China, almost double the United States. So China could put a lot of economic pressure on South Korea if it starts doing things the Chinese regime doesn't like. Not that China would, of course. That's just silly. I mean, just let one of the drones from China's foreign ministry reassure you.
We welcome foreign companies, including South Korean companies, to invest and operate in China.
See, nothing to worry about.
At the same time, these companies must operate in accordance with the law.
Oh no, never mind. They're in trouble. One in particular is in a Lotte trouble. THAAD is going to be constructed on a golf course in the country's southeast owned by South Korean mega conglomerate Lotte. When I was in South Korea last year, I saw the Lotte name everywhere. It's involved in candy manufacturing, fast food, retail, heavy chemicals, IT, construction, entertainment, and hotels, to name a few. And the Chinese regime has been striking hard at its operations in China to retaliate against Lotte. First, my favorite state-run media, the Global Times, made a threat. Since China cannot change Lotte's decision, Chinese society is also firmly determined to let Lotte pay the price for its support of the development of THAAD. Now, nearly 24 Lotte retail stores in China have been shut down. And Lotte isn't alone. The Chinese regime knows how to wage economic warfare to get what it wants.
We saw on Friday that some of those shares, including Hotel Shilla, which gets 70% of its duty-free sales from Chinese tourists, tumbled more than 10%. So it's a pretty significant impact, especially for the parts of the South Korean economy catered to Chinese tourists.
So the Chinese regime is restricting tourism and launching cyber attacks. Over in Japan, an increasingly aggressive North Korea has not gone unnoticed either.
This launch has clearly indicated that North Korea poses a new level of threat.
And that new level of threat is part of the reason why Japan has also been considering building a THAAD system in Japan. And the Chinese regime would love to see a better defended and more militarily active Japan. So, North Korea's repeated missile and nuclear tests and China's inability to rein them in are ruining the Chinese regime's ability to apply pressure on its neighbors. Just a few weeks ago, China announced it would stop buying coal from North Korea till the end of the year. Coal exports are considered a lifeline to North Korea, one of the key things propping up the regime. 90% of North Korean trade comes from China, and coal is its biggest export. But as these most recent missile tests show, that didn't stop North Korea's aggression. It's strange, you know. North Korea and China used to be like, well, Mao Zedong said they were as close as lips and teeth. But now it seems like someone might have bitten their lip. Who's to blame? Well, the old horny toad. Former leader Jiang Zemin fully supported North Korea. And Jiang's toady, Zhou Yongkang, continued to maintain the close relationship. And he was even there for both Daddy Kim and Baby Kim. But with China's factional power struggle, Jiang Zemin and Zhou Yongkang are on their way out. And Xi Jinping is taking charge. That's changing China's relationship with North Korea. But sadly, Xi can't just put the genie back in the bottle. So what do you think of the Chinese regime pressuring South Korea to reject its new missile defense system? Leave your comments below. And speaking of economic pressure, consider supporting China Uncensored on Patreon. Viewer support is what makes this show possible. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time. Mark Twain once said, "Clothes make the man." Naked people have little or no influence on society. That's why I always wear a suit. Always. But I didn't always used to have such great taste in threads. Until I met Monsieur Brunold.
Bonjour, Chris.
With 10 years of experience, Monsieur Brunold selects only the finest materials for your bespoke suits, made at his own factory in Europe. The perfect fit for the perfect suit for the active man. Whether you're skiing, mountain climbing, or uncensoring China.
So if you would like to look as good as my friend Chris here, come visit our Manhattan location.
And the best part is, he won't make you just look good. He'll teach you everything you need to know about how to dress.
And as a bonus for China Uncensored fans, we'll throw in a free custom shirt with the purchase of a custom suit.
So if you want to stand up to the forces of evil while looking really good, visit my friend Monsieur Brunold next time you're in New York. Details below.